Hey everyone, we are back for our run of TMNT 4 with Khanster786. Khanster is a really, really good runner from a lot of different games, so if you don't know him, you definitely should give him a look. While we're talking about that, be sure to give Skunky and West Point Steve and Omquat some follows as well. Those were 3 incredible Turtles runs, and I can't wait for Khanster to finish this off here. Before we get to the run, we did have one other $10 donation from Sorcerer Siege, but with no message. Thank you, Sorcerer Siege. We do have Dark Alexander, who's going to be doing the commentary for Khanster on this one. And so, what's up, Dark Alexander?
How you doing? We are excited to be here for some more Turtles in Time action. We've been raising a ton of money for the Save the Children today, and I'm looking forward to keeping that party rolling all weekend.
Yep, and Raph did win the bid war, so Khanster is breathing a sigh of relief here.
I'm not going to lie, I'm breathing a sigh of relief too, because I don't know a whole lot about Leonardo, let me tell you.
Well, good, let's get into this then. Do you want to give us a countdown?
Yeah, absolutely. I think Khanster's got himself all set up here. We'll just let him get into the turtle select screen, and time is going to start once he selects his turtle. We're just doing it the same way we did for the SRL races. We did for the last tournament, so make things a little bit easier. All right, we will count it down from 5 and get this underway. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Or pause for a second, either way. So in the meantime, if anyone's curious why Khanster is so excited to be playing as Raph today, Raph, as far as this game is concerned, is almost broken when compared with the other Turtles. He's the only one with a consistent way to take out most of the enemies with one shot, so you're going to see him legitimately flying through quite a few of these stages and a lot of enemies at once. One of the key things that we have here is he did make it so he could manually dash. That's a pretty key component to all of our standard attacks, as well as being able to use this flying kick, which is what a lot of us like to call a free special. Normally your special attack, which is your highest damage, also takes a little bit of health from you, but with the dash kick, that's actually not the case. So you can cover a lot of ground and take out a lot of enemies for basically no effort whatsoever. You'll see him taking advantage of some cool enemy groupings here. Also using the invincibility he gets from those slams to try to avoid some of those ninja stars. Krang here is just going to shoot his lasers. So far, a really, really clean first stage. This game moves pretty quickly. So the key to this is knowing which enemies you actually have to fight to get the screen to scroll. So you can end up despawning quite a few of the enemies throughout a lot of these stages. So we're going to be seeing quite a bit of that throughout the game. It's actually one of the bigger time saves you're going to come across. So here we got the Baxter Stockman fight. This is one of the trickier fights in the game, actually. Right off the bat, the first boss, his movements are a little unpredictable, and it's kind of hard to do a whole lot of damage quickly while he's in the air, so we try to get him into a pretty consistent combination where we can deal out damage when he's on the ground. The tricky part is getting him to go down there. So once we do get him to land, we want him to die in the top left corner there. So he's going to do a little bit of dance all the way up there, and that's just going to add more time the farther away he is from that corner. So pretty clean Baxter fight, not a bad first stage. Coming up here on Alley Cat Blues. Little bit of a narrower field of action, so the enemy grouping is a little bit tighter, but that actually makes it easier for us in a lot of situations. We can clean up more enemies with fewer attacks, and we're trying to go fast. Ooh, getting the nice environmental hit with the sewer lid there, being able to take out a lot of enemies at once. That was really nice. He was actually able to get through that section very, very quickly. The roadkill Rodneys that we saw earlier, this is the first appearance of those, and we're going to be seeing a few more of them coming up here. Normally they're quite difficult to deal with, but because of the amount of damage that Raph's dash kick and his special do, we don't actually have to worry about them too much. We can take them out in one shot, so making real quick work of those, because they can be super tricky. They've got a lot of ways to hurt you. Taking advantage of the bomb pizza here to ruin everything in the screen. Got through 2 or 3 packs of enemies without having to put any effort into it at all. So he's saving that pizza. Make sure he's got plenty of health for the boss fight. Ooh, and he's getting grabbed. The enemies do a good job of trying to surround you, and once they sneak up behind you, they'll grab, and you got to kind of shake yourself out of there before the rest of his friends can come after you. So he's got Metalhead locked in a corner here with his dash kicks. Very, very nice. Once you get him pinned into the corner, you can get 2 or 3 hits with your dash special and do a lot of damage in a short amount of time. So Khanster did a really nice job of keeping control of that fight, kicking him back into the corner like that, keeping himself safe. So we're coming up to our first auto-scroller here. This is another stage where you don't actually have to kill pretty much anything in this stage. You can for some extra points, just to guarantee you're going to get yourself an extra life later in the game. But you actually, for the speed run, will generally avoid all that because you just don't want to have that countdown timer at the end of the stage. So Khanster's going to have some time to play around a little bit, relax, probably grab a drink of water. I suggest you all do it as well. Got quite a beautiful crowd out there in chat. Super thankful everybody could come out. Support the Turtles community. Support Save the Children. Have a good time. Kick back and watch some great games. My toe! My toe! So you'll see Khanster here taking advantage of the invincibility frames the standing special gives you. He was able to get through all those water mines. We'll be seeing quite a bit of that iframe abuse a little bit later in the game, but it's super useful. If you get into a pinch, you can do a bunch of damage and prevent any damage to yourself. So it works out nicely that way. Unfortunately, Raph, with all of his strengths, the enemies will rip through him like a wet paper towel. He does not stand up well to a head. All right, Rat King here comes in 2 phases. He's going to try to get through the first phase without taking too much damage. He's going to use those iframes to get through those water mines and do a bunch of damage to Rat King, and the fight is over. Very, very, very straightforward. Coming into one of the trickier stages of the game, the Technodrome has a few different sections. The first one being the longest. We're going to have to get through a little bit of everything at this point. The game's going to just kind of show everything that we've seen in the past and put it all together in one stage. So ramps up the difficulty a little bit. Seems a little bit more aggressive. We're going to have these Mausers here. They're a little bit tricky because they move really fast, and they'll just kind of lock you in position if they bite onto you, so that just leaves you open for more damage. Making nice use of the slam throws to keep some space for himself. Khanster's making real nice use of all of his moves. Those screen throws are the quickest way to get an enemy off of the screen. It'll actually despawn their sprite as soon as you start throwing them. Where a lot of them you have to wait for them to actually explode before their character is considered gone. So making real good use of the dash kick special there. Flying through this stage. coming up on a pretty cool boss fight here. This is Taka and Razar. We're going to see him doing his best to juggle these two guys around without taking any damage. We'll see if he gets the setup. Looks pretty good so far. Ooh, and it looks like Razar was able to escape, but fortunately Khanster's got enough life he can take care of the rest of it with standing specials. Ooh, and charging into the gate. So excited for his elevator ride. Very nice flip tackle setup there. Able to catch all the enemies in one shot. That flip tackle does the most damage of any single attack in the game. It does 20 damage with Rat. And if you combine that with a kick after it, you can do a total of 32 damage in less than a second. It's pretty crazy. This elevator stage is pretty straightforward. The enemies all spawn in the same spot, so you have a good chance of just standing in the same position every time. And if you time your attacks right, you can catch them all in one fell swoop. So quite a few ways to work your way through these enemies, but the floor will not advance until they're all gone. So you want to try to group them as best you can. Getting caught there. First appearance of the blocking enemies. We're going to be seeing quite a few more of those coming up here shortly. Very interesting boss fight. Taking advantage of that screen throw technique we saw earlier. That's the only way to do damage to Tank Shredder here. So the combination of that and these enemies able to block. So you'll actually see Khanster having to charge into him before he can throw him at the screen. So it makes this fight super interesting on hard mode, where the other difficulties have different foot soldiers that you have to throw at the screen, but not the blocking ones necessarily. I think he's got one more hit. I kind of lost count there. Needs 9 throws. There we go. And this is where the turtles start their time-traveling adventure, courtesy of Shredder. A nice vacation through time and space.
Prehistoric Turtlesaurus.
Alright, getting into prehistoric times here. For those of you who played this game growing up, this is probably where a lot of the runs were going to end for you and your siblings and your friends, just due to the boss at the end of this stage. Especially in this difficulty, he is fast, he can block, and he does not play around. So we're hoping we don't see too much of him, but we'll see how Khanster plays this one out. We get the axe soldiers here. They have the highest health of the foot soldiers. There's only one enemy, one standard enemy that has more health than that, and we'll be seeing that very shortly. So it takes a little extra effort to take them out. We have the first appearance of the Stone Warriors here. A couple groups of them. They always like to charge onto the screen, and catch you off guard and bounce you around. And if they get on either side of you, it can become ugly in a hurry. Khanster doing his best to dodge all of the falling parts of the cave here, all of the explosions around him. Every foot soldier was given one bomb and nothing else to do after that, so they'll just leave if you let them mind their own business. This stage likes to chuck quite a few stage hazards at us. Fortunately, we can actually use these dinosaurs to take out the foot soldiers as well. Using a little help from prehistoric nature. one more group of enemies here. Doing a nice job of keeping him at bay. All right, he's going to try to sneak up behind him and get a hit off, and then just kind of chain shoulder tackles here. Hopefully pin him in the corner so Slash can't do anything. Beautiful Slash fight. That's all you ever want to see is Slash. If he gets out of that locked combo there, it gets crazy, especially on hard mode. He'll start jumping around, and he's just so fast that it's hard to get around his guard. Very, very nice job by Khanster there. Alright, we've got Skull and Crossbones. This is another very tricky stage. A lot of stage hazards to worry about. There's lots of loose floorboards that can knock you down. And again, with all the enemies that are on the screen, getting stunned and losing control of your turtle turns into a lot of damage, especially with Raph. Ooh, slid right into it. That's gotta hurt. Making nice use of his dash moves, being able to skip out on a few enemies back there. Fortunately got caught by that stone warrior. You gotta watch out for the pirates in the background. Deadliest cannons in the high seas. Just taking it safe around the arrow soldiers. Trying to group up these purple soldiers as best as you can. And use this bomb pizza to take out the next couple of groups. So a lot of these bomb soldiers you can just avoid. Unfortunately, those are the only yellow guys you can just ditch out on this stage. The rest of them you actually have to deal with. Khanster did a great job of grabbing a hold of one of them just as they spawned so they couldn't get their frisbees out. Those things will hurt you on the way out and the way back, and it's kind of a nightmare. Did get caught up a little bit by the stone warriors, but that's alright. Got it under control. This is another pretty cool quick kill. Very consistent once you get the timing down for it. But he's going to try to focus on Rocksteady entirely. You only have to take out one of these guys, and then they'll get all angry and take out the other one for you. So that's what we're hoping to see. So he's going to try to target just one of them as best as he can. Looks like they dodged out a little bit, and he's having a hard time getting back after it, but it looks like he was able to catch up with Rocksteady there and pinned him into the corner. Once he gets him locked down with those standing specials, he can't take any damage, so was able to get that one back in order. So, very nice to back up.
Bury my shell at Wounded Knee.
Getting into Bury My Shell at Wounded Knee, because every good side-scrolling arcade game needs a train stage. It's actually one of the faster-paced stages in the game, not just because we're already on a moving train, but because the enemy groupings are a little bit tighter, kind of like an Alley Cat Blues. So it makes it a little bit faster to chain through some of these enemies, and there's a lot of groups that can be skipped on this stage. So once you start to learn which enemies you can avoid, this stage just flies right by. So far doing a great job of grouping up all of the enemies. He's got a lot more of the stone warriors on this stage to deal with than in any of the other difficulties. Fortunately, a few of them can be avoided altogether, which he's going to try to do here. Anytime we can skip out on those guys, it's a good thing, just because they do have so much, just all that extra effort to take them out. Dodging the barrels there. Very effective way to get rid of everything on the left side of the screen if you get them to spawn. Nice use of the slam throw there, being able to take out that whole group in one swoop. Not quite able to ditch that last purple guy, but that's okay. One more hit on those guys. We got a second pack here. He's going to use the bomb box to blow them up. Watch out for the falling barrels. And we're into the boss fight. It's another very predictable boss fight. A little tricky, but if you use the invincibility that the standing special gives you, it becomes a lot more manageable. So he's just going to kind of pin him in the corner with his dash kicks and with his standing specials. Every 3 hits, he's going to switch sides, so if you know where he's going to be, you can be there waiting for him with a foot to the face. Very, very nice boss fight once again. Khanster's doing great job on these boss fights. Coming up to our second auto-scroller here, Neon Knight Riders, my personal favorite song in the game. Just like with Sewer Surfing, these guys are more for bonus points than anything. We don't actually have to fight any of them. If you ever played the arcade version of this game, that is not the case in the arcade version. They actually did a pretty cool thing with the SNES version, making this kind of a forward scroller as opposed to a side scroller, flexing the horsepower that the SNES brought home. Always nice to see those little touches. These helicopter guys really love their job. They just don't try very hard. We don't actually have to deal with them at all. We don't even have to move. They're just having a nice leisurely flight in the afternoon here in futuristic Manhattan. So Khanster's lining up here for the fight with Super Krang. This is one particular boss fight that changes on all 3 difficulties. The quick kill setup for hard mode is really, really interesting. Taking advantage of the basically 6 hits you can get on him before he's going to try to change sides. So he's got the nice jumping chop attack. That's his strongest aerial attack, and he can actually get 2 hits on him. Very nicely timed hits. Just trying to lock him down. An excellent Super Krang fight from Khanster. He's doing great. That was exactly how you want to see that fight go.
Starbase.
Unfortunately, that is not the last we will see of Krang. This is the Starbase, where good runs go to die. By far the hardest stage in the game to optimize. Every enemy that the game has thrown at you is here in some form or fashion, with the exception of the dinosaurs. So we're going to see a little bit of everything here, but fortunately Khanster's got a nice surplus of lives to him. We're not too worried about things at this point. The only thing we're worried about is what Krang is going to do to us. This boss in particular is the biggest source of RNG in this game, and even with the best strats in the world, sometimes he's just not going to give you anything you can work with, and it'll end up costing you so much time. 10, 20, 30, 40 seconds, depending on how badly things go. It can get ugly in a hurry, and there's just nothing you can do about it, and it's just right there at the end of the run. Khanster's making nice work of the laundry chute soldiers, kicking them right out of existence. Gotta watch out for quite a few of these yellow frisbee guys in this stage. Fortunately not able to quite ditch that pack, but that's fine. Didn't do too much damage to them. Stage is nice enough to give us a few extra bonus pizzas here, keep things a little bit safer. Doing a good job of avoiding all the stage hazards. The floor traps, the laser fields, the bouncing iron balls. It's a very, very dangerous starbase to be doing research in on the moon here. I don't know what the Foot Clan is up to, but it's nothing good. So a lot of these stone warriors, when they spawn on the sides like that, there's a few of them that you'll actually be able to just do one hit and they'll run away scared, which is kind of nice. So we see a little bit of that in this stage, actually. Unfortunately, we don't see much of that anywhere else in the game, but we'll take it when we can get it. Making nice work of the laser gun toting stone warriors, as if they needed any extra help. Yellow bomb guys coming in to throw their one bomb and then leave. It's hard to find good help these days. One more pack of stone warriors here. Then we get to deal with everybody's favorite flying space alien brain, is UFO Krang. The first cycle he'll give you is always going to spawn low, but after that it's anyone's guess. He's got a few different heights that he can spawn at. Fortunately, it looks like we got another low cycle here. Getting caught up in a bubble. That's not a big deal. Got a mid spawn there. So unfortunately, Raph can't hit him with his standing attacks. He has to do one of his aerial attacks. And that's not Raph's strongest suit by any means. So Krang doing nothing to help us out here. Pretty typical. He was able to get that last special in there using the iframes from that to avoid Krang's slam. And UFO Krang is down. Going into our last boss fight here.
The final shell shock.
The final shell shock. The Super Shredder fight is also vastly different on all three difficulties. He moves crazy fast in hard mode. All of his attacks are fast, he moves fast, he teleports fast. Everything is fast. So we just try to pull him over to the side and pin him against the corner, and we'll just dash kick him to death. Try to avoid any of those green bursts. That'll take a whole life away from you. That's not what you want. Got just a couple more hits here. And time is now. 25:33 for a marathon run is a super, super clean run. It was an awesome job that Khanster did there. Great boss fights. Really clean stages. Not a whole lot went horribly wrong for him. That Krang fight, even with the bad RNG, did a great job of keeping it in check. That was an awesome job. Super impressive run. I know he's been putting a lot of work into it. It's great to see it come together like this. We get that little snide look from Splinter. Guys get to take a ride in the turtle blimp. Get a little extra bonus footage here because of our beating it on hard mode. So want to thank everybody for coming out to watch the Turtles block. Turtles in Time is my personal favorite out of them, but everybody did such an awesome job with these. Thanks to everyone in chat for hanging out and donating your time and your money to save the children. It's been amazing so far. We're going to have a blast this weekend. Shout outs to Wari D Bunnykins doing the restreaming. We got Cobb doing the hosting for us. Everybody else who's been helping out the marathon has been great. I'm going to stop rambling on. I've been Dark Alexander. Thank you so much once again for hanging out, and definitely enjoy the rest of the marathon here.
Yeah, thank you, Dark Alexander, so much for that commentary. That was S-tier commentary, man. I think all four of those TMNT runs were exceptional for the running, the commentary. I couldn't have been happier with how those four runs went. I'm going to be passing it off to Iridescence here with hosting duties coming up. I will be back tomorrow afternoon for the Mega Man block as well, so I'm really looking forward to that. I do have one more donation before I go. There was an anonymous donation for $9.45, which brought us up to an even $12.45 out of our third tier goal of $2,000. So what do we have coming up? Next, we're going to be having actually a Mega Man 6 race between Resisting Frame and Mellow Flows. So we're going to start getting that set up. Thank you guys so much for all of your generosity today. It has been fantastic. I will see you tomorrow. Have a wonderful night.